They're an
a
extremist group, is
jihad.
what he said.
Yeah,
That they
The
operate in the.
I
jihadists
agree with you.
are.
They are, but jihad itself is not.
No, he said jihad. He didn't say
Yeah,
jihad.
a jihad. If you look up a jihad, you'll see that a jihad itself in nature is not evil. That's what I'm trying to tell you. People
I
So
teach
what?
understand
jihad
that. I'm
as
So the
talking about in
jihad in
practice to
nature.
what they're doing, though.
So
So the
what do
people that are
you?
considered the most extreme are considered jihadists,
Right.
right or wrong?
I agree with you, but I disagree.
No.
It's just
Okay.
it's the
So
definition.
That's the only
understanding.
definition we know about them. We don't know them as peaceful, loving tree huggers.
I do.
Nah. Okay.
No,
You got to
Craig, I
share
was
that
asking
information
you.
then, because we ain't never met them.
15
No, Craig, I was asking
over
you
20
about
years.
it
Practicing Muslim
because
for 20 years. And I'm trying to tell you, is not what you think it is. The people that
Could it
usually
have
no,
changed though?
it
Could they
could
have changed their message?
their message became that way because of defensive. That's why it's called a jihadist. Jihadists are people who are there to protect their land. So they will go all the
Mm-hmm.
way out to protect the land and their people and their religion. So that's what we're seeing. So if you
Okay.
attack them, they will become jihadists to defend themselves. So these people did not do this until later on when they start being attacked. So that's when you
So
start
what
seeing
about the
jihadists.
ones that are like so I can understand that because somebody else did say that earlier in regards to using that as the definition. But what about when they start to want to kill Americans that ain't even attacking their land, but because they run into them, they like we go.
Can I ask you where do they hate for America come from? Did it just come out of nowhere? Did they just wake up and say, I hate
But
America?
okay, so that's not what I asked though.
But
I
we're
didn't
talking about
ask her like
Americans.
we all know that America did shit to people, but at the end of the day, do you blame the government or do you blame the American citizens?
I blame the government. I don't blame the American
So when
citizens.
they kidnap American citizens, how does that affect the government?
I don't agree with them kidnapping nobody at
It's
all.
not
I
even
don't
just
agree with that.
kidnapping American citizens. It's blowing
No.
shit up. It's um,
Killing Americans?
the the
They see
jihadists
us.
from
They see
9/11.
us
Now
as the
we can
enemy.
argue
Right.
whether or not
I agree.
the U.S. had any type of involvement in that. That's fine, but definitely planes
The
hit the
trigger
fucking
people and it's the
towers,
results.
and the
Yeah,
planes
but
that hit the towers were hit by Middle Eastern pilots.
and I
Well, my
agree.
And
question would be also
the
like,
part
what about the Taliban? Because the Taliban was taking some claim to some shit too. And then, okay, so for instance, a lot of the times when they go into these villages and they, say sacrifice your oldest son for the rest of y'all to eat, and he'll have virgins and all this other shit. They not even from that region. They going to poorer people, telling them to do that shit. So how jihadist are they that they're going to people that are poorer than them to have them strap bombs and stuff?
What's
They were
the
strapping bombs to babies in Iraq, man. That's
same thing
just
they was
crazy as
doing?
fuck.
Same thing they was doing in Vietnam. But
in
ain't nobody. Vietcong did
in
the
the
same
name of
But
thing.
it
Allah.
sounds like it went
Vietcong,
beyond defending their land when you take innocent
Japan
babies.
did the same thing.
Like it sounds like they went
So
beyond
people be
defending their
saying,
land when they go and strap bombs to innocent babies.
well, who they? Okay, I agree with you. Strapping an innocent bomb to a
I
baby
think
is
it
never
was.
cool in any situation. But their intent was never. Their intent, it's fucking foul. Strapping a bomb to a baby and blowing people up is not cool. Because Vietnam's you just stick their babies under grenades, and people would have literally to run in there to say the babies, pick the babies up, the grenade go off, boom. So this ain't something new that we've seen. Tactics we've seen, but most of these tactics it was born off of hate because of their land being invaded. So they went all the way out. I don't agree with their tactics at all. I
But
don't
I
think it's
think
cool at
it's
all.
kind of like it's so weird that their land wasn't okay. So, for instance, the people that are actually strapping the bombs don't even belong in the land. They're not from that land. They're going to the land and having
Right.
poorer
If they're
people
not from that, if they're not
do
from that
their
land,
evil duties, but they're not from that land.
so
I
you
would
say
say what's
Iraq's
weird
not from
about it
Iraq,
is the
Iran
the
not from
fact that
Iran.
there are people the fact that there are people trying to make an excuse for it, even after saying, yes, that's horrible, it's wrong, but this is why. That's even worse. You're making an excuse for
There's no
these
excuse.
individuals' actions.
what excuse I said? I said what they doing is wrong,
You said
but they're doing
what
it from their angle.
exactly? You well,
So it
no,
can
you
be,
didn't say
is
their
it
angle.
subjective?
You said they're
Anything can be
doing it
subjective.
because they felt invaded.
Yes,
Well,
that's why they're
well,
doing
it
it. Whether
doesn't.
it's right,
That's still
it
not.
doesn't
That's still
justify
not
it.
a.
It doesn't
It doesn't
justify
justify it at
killing
all. But in a
kids,
way, you're watering it
killing
down.
innocent
That's
people.
just fucking crazy.
No, I'm not watering it down. What I am is telling you of a reality of what their reality ain't the same as my reality. So I can
But
never
it just
imagine
ain't
being in that land.
reality because, like I pointed out,
You gotta let him
that the
finish.
people that are
Let him
doing
finish.
it,
I want to hear what he has to say.
go ahead.
I'm not saying what they're doing, their tactics are cool. All of it, I think, is foul. Regardless, kidnapping, all of it is wrong. But from their angle of what they're looking at, they're seeing themselves being invaded. So they're doing any and everything, even if it's fucking foul and wrong, to survive. I agree
And
with you.
that's what I don't
They do
understand.
recruit children, and that's wrong as hell. They're putting kids in the war. But these are people who are paranoid from all these
That's
different
I don't
invasions.
understand.
I don't think
And
that
it's not,
excuses it. I don't think that
That
excuses it.
doesn't make any sense to
it doesn't.
sacrifice your
It,
own people
I
for the
agree
sake
with
of
you,
the land.
but it's not the first time somebody did
But
this.
it's
I'm not
also the
looking
funny part is
at
that they're
this
not
stuff.
that's not even their people. They're literally rich people who come to a poor part of the region and offer them money beyond their wildest dreams to have somebody in their family blow up. They're not doing that in their own land. They're over there taking over another poorer region.
And making these poor
I
people
think the
strap
part
bombs
that
and blow
sticks
them
out,
up.
Exactly. So this is
I
where it
think the
makes
part
no
that
sense
sticks out
about
the
them
most
doing
is
this for the
doing
sake
what
of the
I
land when
never
it's
heard.
not their
I never heard.
land.
It's the first time I heard that. What land ain't
they're
theirs?
doing it in the
So
name of
The
Allah.
Iranian people, that's
Correct?
not their land. Iraqis, that's not their land.
Hey,
You're saying it's
Craig.
not their
Are they?
So
land.
what I said was that
Who land is their?
they're not asking their own people to do this. They're going way beyond their own realm to a whole nother region and having other people that are poor and are in need of some kind of help and they're so desperate that they're willing to sit here and believe that Allah is going to let their oldest son into heaven by doing this act. They're not going to their own auntie, mama, brother, they kids. They're not going to their own. They're going to others in other regions. That's why they have no problem murdering them.
All right, I don't know who you get the report from, but okay. I ain't never heard that one, and I've been following them for a long time. I'm gonna say it again. I was for 20 years. I'm a practicing Muslim, so I follow all that, everything that was going on, and I don't agree with none of it. All of it's fucked up, but these people are reacting through fucking because of these things that happened in the
Still
past.
doesn't by
Doesn't
saying
justify any
but
of it.
They also
by
react
saying
to
but
very small things like a drawing or somebody not converting to their religion. Those
They're
things are
killing
happening
them
as well.
over Bibles. If you up there read the Bible, if you're a Christian, they're
Being
killing them.
gay,
let me
If you're
equate
anything
this.
outside of what
Let
they
me
want,
try to
they don't even see black
equivocate
people
this, and
as
maybe
being Muslim
Nasir.
in that nation. They still see them
Oh,
as slave.
hold on, Queen. So let me try to equivocate this to maybe make it so Nasir understands what I see that he's doing. It would be the same as if I said that slavery is absolutely justified in this country because we did that for financial gain.
Right. Gaslighting.
It it and so
So we don't do
even
things like
it
that.
so
So
but
wars ain't fought for financial
hold on.
gain.
I could say slavery is wrong. Slavery
Mm-hmm.
was bigotry. Slavery we we skinned people alive and we castrated men and
Mm-hmm.
just so they wouldn't sleep with our wives. But we did
Out of
that for
fear.
financial gain. But we did
Yeah,
that
but
for
we made
financial
money.
gain.
or
So
you could
it
even
was
say we did
justified.
it to feed people to make it sound like it's less.
Like it
Like
was
that's what
necessary
we
and
feel like
needed.
you're
We needed
doing.
America to be built.
Yeah.
Hey,
And
Craig,
that's it
thank you for
in
clarifying
action.
that.
In action, in action
I
it was
said their
wrong.
actions are
In action,
wrong.
it was wrong.
No one
The
justifying what they're
benefits,
doing.
the benefits of it were astronomical. So I could definitely make that argument. But But when you do that, you make it
You're gonna
sound
hurt
like
somebody else
slavery.
based off of what you're
You make it
saying.
sound like slavery was justified, and it in no way, shape,
How
or
where did
fashion.
slavery
And
come
could
in
It
at
and
that?
could
Where
America
did
be
I
built
say
without
no,
slavery?
where
Yes,
all
it
this
could have been built
justifying?
without slavery.
Nowhere,
It would have took
nowhere
longer.
I said that it was cool what they doing. I said no, but but I see where it came from. That's it. I'm not saying
I
anything
understand
that they're
what
yeah,
you're
doing
that's
saying, but
is right, but I
that's
exactly
what
what
you're
understand where
I'm
it
doing
saying.
with
came from.
slavery. That's
But it's
exactly what
just
I'm
like
doing with
instead of putting
slavery.
the
Not
butt
the
on it,
same. It's not equivalent to
it's like
something
you.
somebody being invaded and their
It's
reactions.
not.
This
It's
is
not
their
a like.
reactions,
I
and
understand
this
what
is
you're
their
saying
culture.
though.
I
Like
don't
I do
agree
get
with
what
the
you're saying.
culture. I don't care. I don't agree with the kidnapping. I don't agree with none of the fuck shit they're doing. But I know the
I get
cause
what you're
of the
saying though.
situation.
But
I'm pointing out the cause of it. I'm not pointing out as if it was right what they're doing. Nothing can be
The
justified killing
cause
people.
of it is
and I
the
understand what you're saying.
religion.
It's just
It's
when
not
you
the
do the
religion.
it's like saying I apologize, but if you wouldn't have done this, I wouldn't have done that.
But not
Well,
really.
are you
So I
really
Reaction.
apologize,
apologizing
but
That
then?
not really.
reaction. There's a reaction. And this is the reaction of the things that caused. I'm not saying the
Okay,
thing that was right. You keep making it
I
seem
could
like
do
it's
the
a thing of
same.
right. I'm not
I
saying
could do
it's right,
this.
but I can say that's
I,
that's the cause. And if we can fix that cause and prevent that or stop
I
that, then
could do
yeah.
the same
But I'm not
exact thing
saying
with.
that what they're doing is right. You can't
I
stop
could do
using
the.
slavery because slavery ain't the same. I'm not
But
saying
Nazir,
slavery. Nowhere I'm
Nazir,
saying that they're right
I could
in
do
what
the
they
same
do.
exact thing with slavery.
No,
In
you
fact,
can't.
I did do the
How?
exact same thing you just did with slavery.
No, I didn't. I said
Yes.
whatever triggered them is the cause of what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's
So
So
what
it's a
triggered?
basically,
What
you're
years
saying
triggered the
before.
that they
use?
were justified in their reasoning for why they did what they did
That's
because they land
and
was being
they're
invaded.
and to them is justifiable. Not to
Yeah.
me,
To
to them.
to
Whether it's right
to
But
or wrong,
I know
that's
that
what
you're
they
saying to them, but they're not speaking. It's your thoughts.
no, they are speaking. They've been saying this. We talking about
No,
these are
I mean
messages
like
they've been
right now,
saying.
currently, they're not speaking. You're speaking. So when we were like, say for instance, we were all speaking about the jihad aspect, and you were like correcting us on the jihad or the jihad, and then you wanted to let us know some history about how they started off for the protecting their land and that they'll go to the extreme to do it. And it's like, okay, understood that that's what it is about, but the fact of it is that these people are actually killing people and innocent people that have nothing to do with their land. So therefore there's some people that are jihad that don't give a fuck about if you took something. They're just like, I'm going to kill you if you're against what I believe in. And so for that's how we were taking the jihad aspect, and you wanted to give us understanding that they did not start that way. That's not what they stand for. That's because something was taken from them. And can you understand why they're doing what they're doing? Because something was taken from them.
Records of them having not going to war or doing any of this stuff. So it's records before this triggered. So we look at what triggered the mechanism that started this. Because before then,
yeah.
they had peace. They wasn't a people of war. So all this history of Muslims doing this and that and taking over other
They
countries,
were
Nah,
always
that's
a
not
people of
no,
true.
war. That's a
they're not
lie.
people of
They
war.
were
That's
always
no,
a people of
They were
no,
war.
they're
always
not.
at war. Not just
They're
that, they
not.
were
Always.
very
It's not
violent
true.
in
Always.
war.
No, they
So
I don't
wasn't.
know
Talking
how many
about
Muhammad
times
like
you've been
that's
over
Christians were
there
the
to
first
Muhammad
people to kill
the Gulf
hostages. Did you
Coast.
know
how
that?
many
How many times have
how
we been
many
to the Middle East?
Muslims are not naturally like that. They just want to be left
how
alone.
many how many people did Muhammad have killed? How many people?
You talk about Muhammad for the Quran. That's what you're talking about.
Yes. Yes.
They went to war with other fashions. Yes,
How
How
just
many
many?
people
like
did
in the
he have
Bible.
killed though?
It
And why
kills.
did he even start his teachings in the first place? It was because the Jews rejected his teachings, right?
He did the same thing the Christians did. Spread a message, just no different from the Christians did, and they did it brutally
No,
too.
it was different.
They did
It
it
was
brutal.
different.
What was different? What was
It
different? They was
absolutely was
brutal.
different.
The Christians was warriors. That
See
was a
how where
warrior
every
culture.
time.
Romans and
No,
all that was a warrior
some
culture.
we're talking about the
Some of the
Crusades.
Way
Romans used
back.
Christianity. Some of the
Go
Romans used
farther back.
Christianity in a very similar manner, for sure. Christianity as a whole has never been that, but
What do you mean as a whole had
from the
never been that? So we're gonna
from the
it's never been that?
inception from the inception of the Quran of Muhammad's teachings, there's always been a battle, and it's always been war.
Mm-hmm.
What do
Yep,
you mean
even
that
in the
It's
part?
Bible, it
against
speaks
It's
about
literally it
non-believers.
warring
says
with
it says
these people,
it
even
says
though the
peace
names have
be
changed. The names have changed, but the people are still there. And it speaks about how they've gone to war. They've always gone to war,
with other
especially
people who
over
face
religion.
down. Yes, I agree with you. Just like any other religion has went to war. So Muslims ain't the only one that warred to keep their religion
I don't
Yeah,
or
think
they,
slavery.
anybody's
So
arguing that they're the
Christianity
only
did the same
one.
thing.
Yeah,
Okay,
we
nobody's
understand
I'm
making.
singling
Christianity
them
does
out.
the same thing. I wouldn't expect anything less since they're so the same thing. They're still Christianity.
Hey,
They're
Craig,
not
Yeah,
the
thank you,
same
though.
thing.
all right. Still
So
at the same
Muslims
time.
aren't Christians.
It's still
Yeah, you're
Christianity.
welcome, John.
No, it's not. No, it's
No,
It
not.
is
thank
to
you
Uh,
for
me
Islam is not
explaining
because
that.
this is
Christianity.
why I say this, because they serve the same creator, even though regionally they call it Allah, it's still God, one God that they serve. Same thing that Christians say, same thing that
so,
the Jews say. Also, Abraham's
so are
first
Buddhist
son was
Christians then?
Ishmael.
Are
Ishmael was
Buddhist
the father
Christians?
of the Muslim nation.
Are Buddhist
Who got his
Christians then?
lessons
They
from his
serve one
father,
God.
Abraham?
They serve one God.
Hey, Craig, thank you for explaining the word
I was
Yeah,
jihad
just noticing
because
that they're
you're
it's a
monotheists.
welcome,
Like
John.
they're
yeah,
monotheists
You're
for
it's an
welcome, John.
sure.
Arabic word, and the definition, I'm assuming, is strictly about war and violence. Correct?
Mm.
Um,
It's the call to arms.
it's not
Thing.
strictly. It is a call to arms, though.
That's all. That's all it is. A call to arms to defend.
Oh,
Rise up, kill them
That's
all.
I
all.
just thought it meant
That's all it
violence.
is.
There's no other term or definition.
I don't know,
So
man. This confuses me to say that Muslims are not violent, because especially with the groups all
They're
around the
not.
world who are Muslim who happen to be violent, like Boko
Very
Haram,
violent.
Hamas, Al Qaeda. You know what I mean? Like all of these groups all around the world
Out
do
extremism.
express to be Sunni Muslim, and they are persecuting people. And for someone to sit up here and be like, "Oh, they're not a violent group of people," is crazy to me.
And they've been
It's all
violent for
so much.
years because there's ever since
So when
George Bush
Christians was
Sr.
violent. So
Ever
when
since George
Christians was
Bush
Name
Sr.
violent,
was
a
in
they
office,
name
the
a
call
people
all
would get
Christians.
Christian
All
kidnapped
violent
and they
Christians
group
would
aren't
be over
violent.
today.
there cutting
Name a
their heads
Christian
off.
violent group today. Name a Christian
Ku
violent
Ku
group
Klux
today.
Klan,
That actually
not
beheads
That
people
Ku
while
see,
it's
Klux Klan,
televised.
KKK.
the Ku
That's
Klux
about what we
Klan
talking about.
aren't
Okay,
a
so
Christian
since when have
violent
you
Because
group.
these
seen
are
them
groups that are
televise the
Christian groups
lynching?
that are violent. So what are you talking about?
I'm
When's the last time
saying
you seen the
today.
Is
KKK
it
televise
socially
the lynching?
And
acceptable?
it's still
Is
today.
it acceptable inside the religion
No,
of
none of it.
Christianity to be that way? No,
But
Hold
it's
that's
on.
not.
First off,
No,
we
it's
have not
so
proved that the
there's violent
KKK
people in
has
all
been violent,
religions. All I'm
actively violent
saying,
today.
there's
We have
violent
not been
people
able to
in
prove
every
that.
culture. There's violent people in every religion, okay? Everybody in every religion
You could
creates
only
But
name
violence.
as a
one group
whole,
of
That's all it is.
as
people
a
So I'm not
who
going to say
but
the
if you
you
whole
think
could
group.
about it,
I'm
as
you
a
not
could
saying
whole,
the
name
Muslim itself are violent people. I'm not
as
calling
Lucky, you're right. He only named one group of people, but he can't prove that they're even violent today. And two, can't even prove that that group of people are a group of Christians because a large number of those people are agnostic. They're not even Christians.
it. Not there are
yeah, I
Christians.
just wanted to
They
know,
carry
like,
the cross.
can you
They
prove
burn the
that
cross
they
all
did
along.
anything
What are you talking
today that we could say
about? They are
that they are
Christians.
extremists and they're doing things that are like out because like everybody has their little gang and their little groups, right? But it's when they start to do things that inflict other people's safety and life. So this whole country is under one God, under one way of thinking. So if you're not under that way of thinking, you are a target. You are something that is a radical. You're something that needs to be snuffed out before it actually burns into somebody else's heart.
Man, the KKK is a bullshit ass answer because they're American for one, and for two, you can't point to an instance where the KKK is going around chopping people fucking heads off. But I
That's what
could
I'm
definitely
saying.
show you a
Because the
video
law
that I could
changed.
definitely
Because
show
the
you a
law
video
changed.
that was televised
Because the
back
law
in
That's what I'm
changed.
trying to say.
2011.
Like
Because
Could
laws
definitely show you a
changed. It
video
went
that
out the
the
was
law
statute.
televised
changed
back in
so
So that's
therefore
2011,
why.
where
the
ISIS killed a group of Orthodox fucking
That's not the
Christians. I could
argument. I'm
but
definitely
what
not
about the
arguing
fact that the
ISIS.
ISIS was
All
recruiting
I'm
oh
American
saying,
yeah.
all
teenagers?
Muslims are not
They were
bad.
recruiting
And the
American
reason why they were
teenagers and
killed
then
Extreme
was
when they were
because
ones.
they
getting
were
them and
Christian.
Just the extreme
and then
No
they were
other reason but them
not
decapitating
being
them.
all
Christian
What
and
Muslims
about the
are
refusing
fact
to
that the
that
convert.
bad.
teenagers that they went over there to ISIS were not even
All
considering themselves
Muslims
Christians and they were going against their
are
American
not
ways just to go over there and
violent.
get murdered?
All I'm saying is all Christians are not violent. All
I'm
Muslims
not
are not
saying that
violent.
Christians are
Or
perfect, but
all
I'm just
my
saying that
I'm
as a
saying
totality.
everybody has their extreme people in their religion. That's all I'm saying. I'm not
Well,
Well,
you
judging
no,
well
you.
no,
there's
I'm
a
not
Saying
well
saying
there's
that.
a
I'm saying
large
right
group of
now,
extremist
currently,
Muslims that is
I'm
located all over the world, with Iran being the head of the octopus and their tentacles all over the world,
what
funding
about today,
different groups,
currently?
different terrorist groups all around the world that just so happen to identify themselves as Sunni Muslim and to be carrying out the actual teachings of the Quran and following their leader Muhammad and what he did when he persecuted the Jews in the Arabian Peninsula because they refused his
To
teaching.
bow down. Yep.
like
And so
I
was
know
he
that
doing nothing? He didn't
Christians
did nothing no
say
different
that
than Nimrod did,
Christians did say
or even Alexander the
I love
Greek.
people
They were
say
all
what
under the same mindset of a one world order.
they was all pushing their old agendas,
No,
old religion,
actually, that's the same agenda.
all pushing they
The
all
same
pushing their old
agenda to
religion.
kill the Jews
Just
who
like
will
when
not
the
bow
Crusades,
down.
just like the Crusades, all religion has this thing of spreading themselves to other people that's not part of their
But
culture.
the
This
thing
is what
about
Yeah,
it
but
happened.
is,
the difference
Every
today,
between
religion.
Nazir,
I'm
today,
Christianity
against
and
all of
Islam,
I'm
it.
it is
looking
I'm
at
for
against
today's
all
sure.
time.
of it.
How
I'm
many
against
crusades do
all
you
of it.
see Christians take
All
to
of
go
it.
murder somebody that didn't want
They did it already. They
with the
did it already.
religion?
You talk about
How
after
many?
effects.
I I
After
didn't
effects.
say I didn't. You got to slow down because I don't like all that talking through and over. I think that it's early in the morning. We cool. You feel me? But if we not hearing each other, then it's gonna become where it becomes and it's not necessary. So what I'm saying is current time. Current time, how many of these different social clubs, KKK, Crips and Bloods, well, we're not going to say that because we know what's going on with that. But we'll just say, how many of them are actually making motherfuckers like convert, join the KKK or die?
Man, I just watched a video of African
You know they're having
slaves.
bigger recruits. You know their recruiting is bigger now, right? You know they're
But
Not
are they
expanding.
queen.
killing them?
Do
Are they
you
killing
know
them if
this?
they
Queen.
don't join?
Because
You know what's so
they don't live
crazy?
in a right country. That's
It's
why.
not it's not even about the violence. Let's talk about the slavery that's
The
going
slavery that's
on.
still going on in 2020, that
Exactly.
started in
Like
2022 when
in
Gaddafi was killed, and how they just put them
in
black people in
2011.
slave all that shit. Like that shit was fucked up to watch people in 2020 be in chains, and America's just watching with National Geographic filming them. But this is going on over there in their country, and they're okay with what they're doing because, like I
Well,
said, they don't consider black people Muslims; they consider them slaves.
they're Abid. What the Muslims call black people, which fucking black Muslims are fucking crazy to me because the Muslims call black people Abid or Abda, meaning slave. And the reason why they call them slaves is because for over 1400 years during the Barbary and the
The
trans-Sahara
Syrians,
slave
the
trade, the
Syrian,
Ottoman Empire, Sunni
yep,
Muslims enslaved over I don't know how
transatlantic
many
slave
blacks,
trade.
whites, and Asians all throughout the centuries,
They had a
bro.
very
And people don't talk
harsher
about that shit.
endurance in slavery too. They didn't give
And
a
and
fuck.
what do they call blacks? I've over here where I'm at, the gas station owner called me Abda. You know, he called me fucking Abda, and he thought I didn't know what he called me because that's the term that they use regularly for blacks. They call us raisin heads. That's crazy how blacks can be fucking be Muslim when the Muslims are the most racist people when it comes to black people. That's
So what's the
crazy.
justification of being Christian then? What is the
I mean,
justification of that?
What?
Of black people
What?
so what
being
does
Christian?
so
What's the
What's
so
that got
so
to
justification?
do with what she said?
you always gotta go
That
back to
I would say
Christianity
it
every
again.
fucking time.
You keep
You
bringing up
always gotta
Islam
go.
and saying black people this as if
But
Christianity was a great thing for us too.
yeah, but
So we ain't gonna even bring.
transatlantic
So I
slave
wouldn't even bring
trade
that up.
only
I
carried
wouldn't even
out
bring
for
that up.
400
No, but what
years,
she's
Good
bro.
morning,
saying is
Trap.
that she's
He's
saying
not
that
trying to
Bring
hear
as a
you.
slavery in this. Stop
Muslim
bringing slavery.
nation or whatever, that you wouldn't be able to go and take your pilgrimage to Mecca and be respected for your journey. Like why even?
Because
Because
black
a
people
lot of
were
the time that most of the black people they never took on that identity on their own. They took it on because they were enslaved there. They adopted their slave master's way.
Exactly.
Just like
Exactly.
Christians
So
did.
That's
Just
why
like
they
so
call them
Christians did.
slave. It wasn't
so
because
Just
you
so
like
chose that
Christians
Islam
did.
lifestyle. It's
in,
Just
because
like
your
Christians did the
ancestors were
same
in the
enslaved
thing.
there.
Middle East they
Yeah.
never
Just,
abolished
yeah.
slavery, but
Just
you
like
can't
slavery.
you
Yeah.
well, name me
U.S.
a
is one of the
westernized
USA was like
Christian
what the second
Christian
state or the
They
nation
look
that
nice.
has slaves today.
the United States
Name
did
me
not end
one.
slavery first. The
Name
United
me
States
one.
did not end slavery first.
You know
What did he
Islam did
say?
not didn't
The United States
never
did not
mind.
end slavery first. They was not the first people to end slavery.
We know that.
Not the United States.
We know the
Okay.
United States was not a first to enslave. We know
So
that.
what do we keep bringing up? Just say that we can't
But they
use
bought
slavery as
blacks
you
from the
can't use
Muslims
blacks.
in
You
Africa.
can't bang on them without banging on other ones too. You could bang on.
Yeah,
I'm
but
agree with you.
that's
You
the
could
whole
bang on
thing. We're not talking
translators.
about the other ones. We're talking
I'm talking
about
about both.
Muslims and how their ways are as jihad. We're stretching this goalpost.
I said what I said about jihad, and
So
I'm not
to move
justifying
anywhere
nothing.
else, like
You're
all
acting up.
the
I'm not
only thing that
defending or
you're
applying.
missing is that there was examples given, but it wasn't to go and stretch further. You can say whatever you want about Christianity. I quite frankly don't care. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me at all if that motherfucker say something about Muslims either. Because at the end of the day, if you have understanding of truth, you'll understand what is being said versus like, let me tick for tack it.
Now I
You
go
know
off of
what's so
history
crazy to me?
and
Like
science
niggas
and
watch
structure.
Speed go to fucking go to Northern Africa, which is a good majority, you know, of Islam in Northern Africa and Algeria and Morocco. Those are Muslim fucking countries in Africa. But you know, it makes me wonder why you could see a Muslim majority in Africa regarding the lighter skinned Muslims. I'm talking about the ones that look like the motherfuckers from the Middle East. The white Muslims are took over North Africa, but you can't find
The
not one
Moroccans.
country that is taken over in the Middle East by Africans. You will never find it. You will see Algeria is white and it's a Muslim
That's
country.
called
You'll see
modern day
Morocco is white
redlining.
and it's a Muslim country all throughout North Africa, even Libya.
That's
And one
modern
guy came
day.
on here.
That's coastal redlining, where they basically have pushed them into a region in which they want to be known as this, and they push them into a part of that region so that they can now, you know, be able to like they did, which was say that Egyptians were white.
Egyptians, if you go to Egypt right now, you see white people. You don't see
Yeah,
any
because they
blacks in
pushed
Egypt.
all the blacks
They
out.
pushed
And even
all
if
the
those
blacks
black
out,
people that
all the
leave Egypt
Muslims.
that come out dark skinned from Egypt, their birth certificates and paperwork will say white. They will never let it be known that there was black people in Egypt. So anybody leaving there of melanin, they're gonna say that they're white. They don't care how they look. It's their shit's
Most
gonna say
of
white.
most of northern Africa looks like the Middle East. Dead ass. Looks like the Middle East, but you would never see a country in the Middle East with a majority of black people there at all. At all. Because we're Abid. We're Abid. We're Upda. We're slaves over there to those Muslims for him to be so loyal. And you know, it's so crazy to me how Muslims,
I'm
how
not
blacks
Muslim.
blame
I'm not
whites,
Muslim.
saying that whites are fucking racist when whites the
Ain't like
transatlantic
that.
slave trade started after the trans-Saharan slave trade and ended before the trans-Saharan slave trade. The trans-Saharan slave trade never ended. You still
Mm-mm.
have
It continued
Africans being
on.
enslaved by Muslims today, but
Because
y'all don't
even
give
while
a
they was
fuck
dealing with the
because
pan
it
Atlantic
doesn't fit
slave
the
trade,
narrative. It doesn't
while they
fit
were
the
dealing with
narrative.
that pan Atlantic, the transatlantic was still going on. And so while that was happening the whole time, America, the English, they went to Parliament and asked for it to be put in into law. That and they had like certain statutes that they were putting in with it. So they went and did this, and that's why they had a shorter time. But you also have the Portugal, you had the Spaniards, you had the Japanese, you had the Dutch, you had the French, you had them all here. So, we do understand that. But at the end of the day, while they were all taking their little piece of the pie for however long, how long was this the Muslims or the so-called